this person needs some help. How can we get some help? Well, you can get the help in the form of good matchups and a good schedule. And this is as good as it gets. 45-15, the Monday, Thursday night special, which is low end or high risk, that's a pretty darn good clip right there. I wish I could figure out what percentage that was, but it's good. What is that, like 70? I don't even know. I'm not a math person, believe it or not, but we'll get into some official props right now. And actually, you know what? We'll start with basically the cream of the crop, the best play, the best bet for week number 6. It's brought to you by GBank, the official bank of VSiN. The GBank Visa signature card is your best bet, delivering 1% cash rewards on eligible gaming transactions and 2% cash back rewards on all other eligible transactions. For more information, head to vsin.com/GBank. That's vsin.com/GBank, subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply. And that play is Jordan Love over 256.5 yards this week at home against the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals have generated the third lowest time to throw adjusted pressure rate over expectation. So I don't expect Jordan Love's uniform to get very dirty on Sunday. Love ranks 5th in deep throw percentage and 15.8%, and he ranks 6th in ADOT at 10, which is good when you're looking to get yards. The Cardinals rank 3rd in YPA allowed and 3rd best in completion rate allowed. They run cover 3 and cover 4 at top 10 rates, and there is no quarterback whose value is increased more on a coverage shell than Jordan Love against cover 3 and cover 4. He owns it. So does Jaden Reed. He is only this year, this is weird, completing 56% of his passes so far. And maybe that's why this number isn't a little higher. But guess what? He owns an adjusted completion percentage of 71.8%. 8.8% of his passes have been dropped this year for 111 yards. And I believe half of those were Dontavian Wicks last week. So Jordan Love is numero uno. And let's go to number 2 because it's Derrick Henry. And we've been winning on Derrick Henry over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and it's a little bit of a nail biter like last week. I put it in the L column last week at about 3 Eastern, but he hit, and he'll hit again. 82.5 rushing yards, minus 125. You heard Scott Barrett talk about it. Commanders, they're a run funnel. They're allowing the second most adjusted yards before contact per attempt. Derrick Henry averages 3.29 yards, adjusted yards per attempt, second most in the league. He takes on a DC club that's given up the second most adjusted yards before contact per attempt, 6th most rushing yards per game. They also allow the highest yards per carry average over 6 and the 5th highest success rate on man and gap concepts, which Henry absolutely crushes. 6.36 yards per carry, as 6.5-point home favorites. As Scott mentioned, you can't find a more game script dependent than Derrick Henry. And the Ravens have the NFL's 5th highest run rate when leading by 7 or more points. I'm going to go with the next one here at 3, and that's pretty high on the list because I do rank these and prioritize them. It's a little scary because Bijan Robinson is worrying me a little bit. He doesn't seem to be totally comfortable in their outside zone scheme, a little impatient, definitely worried. But when I see a player struggling a little bit, and maybe he's a little hurt too, he had the shoulder and there was another ailment. He has had 10 days off. But whenever I see a player struggling, I'm like, all right, this person needs some help. How can we get some help? Well, you can get the help in the form of good matchups and a good schedule. And this is as good as it gets, quite frankly. 82.1% of Bijan's rushing attempts have come on zone concepts this year, second most in the league. Vast majority of them coming on outside zone, 71%. And the Panthers have allowed the 5th highest success rate and the 4th most yards per carry against zone concepts. And even more, YPC against outside zone concept. So I'm in on Bijan this week. And here's another weird one, but it's not weird if it wins. Zach Ertz over 3.5 grabs. I know he's a low-end guy. I know he's older, but guess what? Zach Ertz can still get open. Zach Ertz ranks 4th in average separation score per fantasy points data among tight ends with 50 or more routes. It's pretty darn impressive. Now, he only had 2 grabs for 10 last week, which is weird. He did have a season-high 8 targets, though, and before last week, my man caught 15 of 16 targets from Jaden Daniels, and most importantly, as we've mentioned here, the Ravens have been a complete mess in the middle of the field, giving up the 2nd most receiving yards per game and the 3rd most receptions to tight ends. DC, they're 6.5 road underdogs, and that's what you want. You know, I didn't win that Ayuk prop last night. Still upset about it because they're sitting on a lead the whole damn game. So I think we really want to get, ideally our receiver props are on underdogs. So they're throwing on all 4 downs and all that. But I think this will be either Ertz comes out and catches a quick 2-3 balls in the first quarter, and then he gets it hits the number, or it's a little bit of a struggle bus and he's not that involved and they're throwing on every down at the end of the game. And that's happened a lot with Zach Ertz. But yeah, I like this one a lot. Rounding out the top 5, Sammy Laporta. Remember him? He is coming off the bye and he is a quick healer. So he's had plenty of time to heal, and he did play in their last game and he did fairly well. But there are a lot of data points that point to Samuel Laporta, like how the Cowboys have played single high at the fifth highest rate this year. And that is a negative schematic matchup for Amon-Ra St. Brown and also Jameson Williams. Meanwhile, Samuel Laporta sees a 149% boost in his fantasy points per route run against single high. He hasn't been great, but I'm feeling it here. Sammy Laporta game on Sunday. Next up here, this is a little risky, and this is not everything is all about coverage shells and the like, because this is not a good schematic matchup for Rome Odunze, but I'm feeling it because, first of all, our guy Stephen O'Rourke brought this to my attention on Tuesday, and I love it because Caleb Williams making incremental progress, and a lot of it is play action. And the Jags have really struggled against play action. I actually predicted last week that Alec Pierce would score like a 60-yard touchdown, and he actually did. Maybe it wasn't a prediction, but I'm saying I said it out loud on a broadcast. But anyways, Odunze has only topped 40 yards once this year. But here's the key. Odunze has a 58% air yard share on play action passes. So what they do is play action and you take a shot deep. And that's what Caleb has been doing with Rome Odunze. So I like that one quite a bit here. So Rome Odunze is a little bit of a contrarian one. A.J. Brown over 70.5 receiving yards. Love this one. Browns play a lot of man. He'll probably be healthy, good to go. Chris Godwin over 63.5 receiving yards. As we've mentioned, they have been roasted out of the slot. Juju Smith-Schuster off the couch had 7 grabs for $130 in this matchup last week. We mentioned Jaden Reed. Unbelievable. Now, the odds aren't great, minus 135, but this is pretty much a lock. 4.5 grabs. And then also, as we did learn last week, Josh Jacobs gets the ball when they're nursing a lead and trying to grind it out. Basically, that's what happened last week, and that's what we're going to get this week. And then real quick, some leans for you. Like Dak in this game, I think it'll be the shootout. I think we can get Mark Andrews schematically. Looks good. We mentioned Ertz. Jalen Polk. I like that with Drake May. Ladd McConkey should have a good game. Darnell Mooney, Jake Ferguson, Jalen Tolbert, and Deontay Johnson under.
Thanks for watching, but don't let the betting insights end here. If you want an extra edge this football season, you can get a month of VSiN Pro right now absolutely free. That means access to our betting insights, analysis, and tools like our betting splits at zero cost to you. Click the link in the description to sign up.